Welcome back, everybody, to the final episode of the 50 heavy metal bands that you need to know. Thank you for joining me this holiday season where I've been able to give you hopefully a couple of recommendations for great bands that you should check out. Either that or old classics or bands that you already knew that you need to go back and re-listen to, kind of re-explore and become acquainted once again. If there is any band that wasn't mentioned on this list, certainly give the recommendation to the rest of the Cover Killer Nation and the heavy metal universe in the comments below. They will thank you later. So it's time for us to have this last episode go down in history. Here are numbers 10 through 1 on the list of the 50 heavy metal bands that you need to know. We're going to start it off with number 10, which is actually a twofer. It's Maudlin of the Well and Kayo. Now, this is Toby Driver's baby. Whenever Maudlin of the Well came out in the latter portion of the 90s, with albums such as My Fruit Psychobells and Leaving Your Body Map, just to name two, they definitely helped to really inspire the avant-garde movement that we now enjoy really today. They're one of the bands that could be considered one of the forefathers of that modern movement, and whenever Maudlin of the Well suspended their operations, Kayo came from its ashes, and they were able to continue on with Maudlin's work, only adding on a couple of different other styles to their expression as well. Sometimes it was of the doom variety, other times it was a little bit more sensible, a little bit more electronic. There's a lot of great stuff here. This is an exquisite duo of bands that you absolutely need to scope out if you like your music a little bit off the beaten path. Number 9 is Trees of Eternity, their album from this year, Hour of the Nightingale. It's a sad album, considering it's the only one that we will ever hear from these guys, considering their lead singer is no longer with us. However, it is a tremendous effort. It is one that has exquisite female vocals. It's doom metal that has a lot of character to it, and it's easily one of the most beautiful albums that you're going to hear throughout the course of 2016, or perhaps even throughout the course of your lifetime. Even though there's only one album, and that really should suggest that why would you need to know this band, the music is so damn good that you absolutely should know this band and at least experience this album once. So definitely do so. Number 8, Brothers of the Sonic Cloth. Their self-titled album from last year in 2015 was absolutely astounding. This is Tad Doyle, who formerly was in the band Tad, which is more of a grunge product, but this is one in Brothers of the Sonic Cloth that has a little bit of that funeral doom idea thrust upon it, or a little bit of stoner metal, whatever you wish to call it. It's slow, it's heavy as shit, and it definitely has a lot of that movement character that we love to talk about. I love this album, I love this band, I cannot wait for more. Scope this one out if you have the opportunity. Number 7 is Black Crown Initiate. Now, here, since we're closer to the number 1 location, will probably be some names that many of you do know. For example, Black Crown Initiate has very quickly established a fan base, even though they are only 2 albums into their career. But Selves We Cannot Forgive from here in 2016 was an excellent showcase of what this band's skills are all about, and it's one that definitely was able to sort of bounce off of their first album very nicely. It was no sophomore slump. Everything felt like it was very tight. The Wreckage of Stars is an excellent album, but Selves We Cannot Forgive does showcase a little bit of maturity. This is melodic doom. This has a little bit of this and that. It's something that I would really put along the same terms as an In Mourning or maybe even a Swallow the Sun. It definitely has a lot of spirit, and it showcases itself, and the riffs are delicious. Scope out Black Crown Initiate if you haven't already. If you have, then your job is to spread the good name to somebody else. Number 6 is High on Fire. 2015 was a great year for them as well, with Luminiferous coming out. But really, High on Fire's entire discography is absolutely brilliant. Blessed Black Wings is another great example. Death is Our Communion, all the way up to the De Vermis Mysterious, rather. This is just an absolutely classic band, one that is able to combine a little bit of stoner metal, a little bit of thrash, a little bit of this, a little bit of death, and all that in a bag of chips in order to craft something that is not only very varied, but also fantastic to really experience. Each album seems to boast a different repertoire of songs, and each of them tend to have their own register of greatness. This band keeps on getting better. You're going to want to check them out. Number 5 is In the Woods, who finally came back after about a 16-year disappearance from the heavy metal scene with their album Pure here in 2016. This is another band that could really fit that avant-garde persuasion. This one's a little bit closer to the realm of progressive, with a little bit of black metal, a little bit of just art music, whatever you wish to call this, this band is absolutely fantastic. They're going to blow your mind with the fact that they just really just take the rulebook and kind of piss on it a little bit. Now, while Pure is a little bit more straightforward than some of their previous efforts, it still showcases the band at their best, and showcasing that melody along with the randomness that they're able to perpetuate certainly is a combination that's a nice handshake, a match made in heaven. Scope these guys out. Number 4 is Anaal, Nathrakh. The Whole of the Law here in 2016 was a terrific disc by these folks, and it is one that is an absolute buzzsaw. This is almost uncategoric. It's got something just about for everybody, though it's mainly going to be attuned to those who really like their music extreme, that like it fast, that like buzzsaws of riffs, that love dirty vocals that they can't understand, lyrics that are absolutely nowhere to be found, and this is insane. It's insanity that's wrapped up in music. Anaal, Nathrakh is going to satisfy any extreme metaler's needs. It's a name that's been on the rise, and it's a name that continues to grow. Number 3 is Obliviscarus. Speaking of bands whose names continue to grow among the heavy metal faithful, you probably know this band, but it's your job now to spread this name even further. Citadel in 2014 was the album of the year on this channel. We're awaiting the follow-up for this massive disc, and their first one is excellent also. Really, this band has done no wrong ever since they burst onto the scene, so they have some big-time shoes to fill after the success of Citadel. I love this band. I think you know what they're all about, but for those of you who are brand new to the fold, a lot of melody, a lot of progression, a lot of death metal thrust together with riffs aplenty, with beautiful passages and excellent songwriting. The craftsmanship on these discs have been amazing. If you don't know this name, discover it today. Number 2, Thy CATAFALQUE. My God. We are definitely going strange with this top 10 list, but that's because strange music or avant-garde or art music being thrust upon black metal and other styles of heavy metal is certainly one of the ways of the future. It's something that keeps everything fresh, and Meta from this band certainly pulled that off this year. These guys have been going at it for a while, and it is always a real journey to take. It's one that you have to undertake at least once in your life. If you scope out this band, you will become a fan. I almost personally guarantee it. And that brings us to number 1, which is Haken. Now, this is another name like Obliviscarus that has been getting a lot of attention as of late, and Affinity from here in 2016 showcases exactly why that is. They started off mainly as a progressive metal / progressive rock band, but is able to thrust in some of that prog from the 1980s with Affinity in order to really give a package that shows that this band is far from being complete whenever it comes to their evolution as a group. And this is something that is amazing news, not only for progressive fans, but also for heavy metal fans, considering they could take things in so many different directions. They could bring heaviness as well as melody. They have excellent songcraft and everything that you could potentially want in a prog band. If you are sick to death of Dream Theater, if you've had your fill of Fate's Warning, if Queensryche no longer strikes your fancy, Haken is the band that you need to discover. It will be an obsession that you will not be able to control. An album such as The Mountain will only further that, and Affinity will only cement it further. This is the band that you need to get into absolutely today. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely near the end there, got a little bit tongue-tied, but it's the 50 heavy metal bands that you absolutely need to know. There are links in the description box for you to scope out a song from each and every one of these groups. I want to know what you guys thought about the list. I want to know what bands you would recommend to me or recommend to the remainder of the nation. Let us all know in the comments below. Thanks once again for joining me during this holiday season. This was meant as my gift to all of you, one of many. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it may be. I'll check you guys next time. Take care. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video and this series. You can watch the whole thing on the link to your left. The link to your right is going to take you to the 5 Reasons series. Why are some bands hated? It's time to find out. So definitely scope that out. You can also subscribe to the channel and scope out my Patreon. Thanks again for viewing this series. I appreciate it a lot. Have a happy holidays.